Welcome to the new sound of Rockland. RocklandWorldRadio.com. Exciting online TV and radio.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Welcome to the new sound of Rockland. RocklandWorldRadio.com. Exciting online TV and radio. Watch and listen to what you've been missing. Broadcasting independent music, art, and culture. From the world of pop to poetry, classical to cutting edge. Movies, comedy, jazz, jams, rock and roll baby, interviews, information, and event listings. Join the revolution. It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com.
Dialogues with Dan, heard on Rockland World Radio, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday evening. Be sure to check out the archives of past programs, which you can access via the menu bar. Now the host of Dialogues with Dan, Mr. Dan Windheim.
Thanks, Richard. Hi, everyone. This is Dan. Hope everyone's doing great. Spring has come, and tonight we have another live interview for you all. I'm speaking with Jeff Turitz from, I believe, Jersey. I'd like to introduce Jeff Turitz. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Yes, you're from New Jersey?
I am from Englewood, New Jersey.
Oh, excellent. Glad you could join us here live. We actually have a live audience tonight. Hi, audience. Yeah, I'd like to start our interview by asking you, Jeff, could you tell us about, I understand you had a brain injury, a TBI. Maybe you could tell us when, where, what happened, and all about that.
Well, I can give you the short version of what I've been told. I was riding my motorcycle back to my friend's house in Woodstock, New York. And I was about 100 feet from his driveway, going about 25 miles an hour, when I'm told a deer ran out of the woods and literally hit me. And my life was changed on that day about 5 years ago. And I was grateful enough to be airlifted from Woodstock. And my friends picked my motorcycle up and drove it to his garage, which it's still there. Thank you very much. And, my life started again from that day.
How so?
Well, I woke up before my brain woke up. So I was in the second hospital when I realized who I was, and I couldn't understand why I was in a bed. Didn't know where I was. I recognized the faces around me, but I couldn't come up with a name. I couldn't know my mother's name, my father's name, my son's name, my girlfriend at the time. I knew she had a name, but I couldn't come up with it.
Yes. I actually thought you said you were in a coma.
I was in the coma. I was in a coma. I'm not sure how long I was in a coma.
Yes.
I'm sure I've been told many times, but I don't remember how many days.
Yes. And you just realized you woke up and you had this difficulty knowing who who's who and what's what?
Well, what I came to realize is that I broke, there was 11 broken ribs, a broken leg, a broken shoulder, my nose, a lot of problems.
Yes.
A lot of physical problems, which I wasn't able to walk. Couldn't go to the bathroom. It was just, my denial was good for a little while, but over time, reality started to come my way.
And what's that?
I realized that it hurt to laugh. It was the oddest thing. My whole life, it hurt to laugh. All my ribs were broken. It was like to get a deep breath hurt. And it just, dawned on me in that way.
Yes. Let me get this straight. You were wearing a helmet.
Yes, I was wearing one of those little bitty helmets so I wouldn't get a ticket. But it didn't stay on my head.
No.
And it wasn't very effective.
Oh. And you had a brain injury.
I did. And do.
Yes. And you had difficulties. Did you receive therapies? Physical therapy? Did you have casts? Did you need retraining?
Yes, absolutely. I had more help from doctors and therapists than I could have imagined. Friends, family, hospitals, from whatever the first hospital was, to come to wake up at Kessler in New Jersey, a few more hospitalizations, and all sorts of cognitive therapies.
Yes.
I didn't even know what that meant. Although at one time, I was the counselor and helping people. Now I was able to ask other people for the help that I needed to do.
And what does it mean, cognitive therapy? What is it?
That is a fabulous question. Today it means help. Brain help. My brain wasn't connecting in many ways. Very much like a stroke victim, although I don't believe I had a stroke, but I take the same medications today as if. And I had to learn what other people have shown me that they can learn.
Yes.
That cognitively I couldn't, memory, long-term, short-term, my attention span has progressed. My ability to have a conversation has progressed. And this is the proof. And this can make me feel better about where I am, because I am not where I was, nor do I wish to be.
Yes, you were on my program maybe 4 years ago. You came, and at that time, you were a lot less able to hold conversations. You remember that?
I remember meeting you.
Yes.
I remember being here. But the specifics?
Yes.
Not for a second. But I know that some of the reasons that I am happiest that I met you, because I knew that we have done this. I knew I've been here before, but I couldn't remember anything other than your face.
Yes.
And I was happy to see you.
Well, you also, maybe you could share some of the ways you feel you've improved, and then I'll tell you the ways I see that you've improved. How have you improved?
In many ways, some of my improvement has come from asking for help and understanding what it means to accept the help and to lighten up on myself.
Yes.
And when I'm able to do that, I'm able to lighten up on others. I would have never thought that, because I don't believe I ever really truly felt like I was a victim. I still love deer. But I don't want to get too close.
Yes.
So, I'm not a victim of any illness that I have, because then I will just be, the sadness comes and goes, but I don't want depression to sink in and go in that direction. And I have learned that that's cognitive, the brain functioning. What's my, my attitude, my behavior, my thinking. I can change some of that. Sometimes faster, sometimes slower, and sometimes I get other people's help to do that. And my friends have been very helpful in, catching up on that.
Exactly. So as you said, maybe accepting help or even asking for help. At first, you were very against getting help. You got angry, or you felt you didn't want the help. Is that right?
Well, early on when I was at Kessler and some of the therapists were asking me to do certain things.
Right.
And one day, somebody asked me to write something. I couldn't write. And they said, oh, well, just, write the alphabet.
Yes.
There were 17 letters in my alphabet, and I meant every one of them.
Right.
I go, what do you mean that's not? I mean, it just got to me that I'm not in the position that I thought I would be in just because I want to. And another person was smart enough to say, and I kept writing, and they would have it in front of me on the wall, and I could put them from paper to paper, but I couldn't do it without the paper in front of me. And someone said, can you sing the alphabet? I said, as a matter of fact, let's see. And I could sing the alphabet, and every letter I could get, when I would sing it, I could write it. But if I ever stopped in the middle, I would have to start at the beginning every time. And I did that for weeks. So that when I was able to have someone make a difference that was helpful to me, if I was okay with it, it made a difference for me to continue. So when someone was asking me to get on the computer and start reading this and answering these questions, when I wasn't able to read, and frustration would just overwhelm me in very short time, that's enough. I went as far as I could. And I'm still capable of doing that to this day.
And that's called aphasia?
No.
Or that difficulty?
Aphasia, from my understanding, is the ability to be able to speak, to understand, and communicate. Aphasia is about communication in one form or another. So part of my aphasia was the ability to speak. I could listen and understand for the most part. Right. I was not able to write, and it took me a while before I could speak English, which is the only language I know. Right. So it's a little difficult at first.
And so your sense of humor is remained intact, or even increased.
Well, yes, I have a sense of humor.
Yes.
I've tried to share it because I truly believe that if I can get somebody to laugh, I will not be so upset myself. And that sort of continues to this day.
That makes sense. And so getting better is not something that comes in a week, all at once, a week, a month, a year. It's continuous and ongoing. You agree?
I agree. I wish there was a time limit. Oh, you'll be fine in 6 months.
Yes.
But it's, everybody is a little different. Some have more severe than I did, and I get to be reminded of where I was when I go to Kessler every once in a while, and I see, yes, I was in that wheelchair.
Yes.
And starting there.
How does that feel?
That's when I can truly lighten up on myself, because I am not where I was. And that makes me feel better. I may not be where I want to be, but I am not where I was, and that is for accepting so much help along the way and the willingness to do certain activities that for some people might look simple and easy. And for me, even when I do read today, it's like heavy weightlifting to this day. So after a few paragraphs, a few pages, it's not fun for me, but I keep going.
Oh, excellent. So your ability, you had said your attention span was very short at first, and it's really grown over the weeks, months, years. Today it's a lot longer.
I'm really good for about an hour.
Yes.
After that, it comes and goes. It depends on me and how I take in what's around me.
Exactly. And you had mentioned your contact with friends, family. Has that improved? You feel more comfortable with them?
In many ways, I saw how many people were truly affected because they cared about me in numbers that I never thought possible. I never realized how helpful I could be to other people until I needed help. It was, a little difficult and strange for me because I was used to helping other people through other difficulties and illnesses and behaviors, and now I had to start to do what I had learned and what I had taught.
Yes.
And it's a lot easier when it's coming from a page of a book than coming from my experience. And that's sort of what I have learned.
Yeah, before your injury, you were a drug counselor?
I was.
Is that right?
Yes.
And today you help others. How do you help others?
Today I help the people that sort of want to be helped. I don't do my interventions anymore to people who don't want to be helped. While I may have done them before there was a TV show, and I have experience, what I don't have as much of is memories. So, in much the same way that I don't remember what you asked me, if I didn't say that, you wouldn't know. I would just continue. But I'm going to ask you, what was the question?
Yes. How you help other, maybe survivors or people living with aphasia or brain injury.
To be helpful to others, because so many people have been helpful to me, has really helped me continue on this path to recovery that I have now been on and want to continue to be on. So part of my support group is what started out in Englewood Hospital, for that matter, Traumatic Brain Injury Support Group. When I first got there, I could only say my name, and I'm here to listen, and that was the whole conversation for quite some time.
Right.
It was a way for me to get out of the house and not watch TV and have coffee with friends, as I like to call it. I have to I was willing to be in front of people who understood how difficult it was for me, because they had been in the same position that I now find myself in. And I didn't know that I would be on this side of the...
Oh, sure.
So now I am able and have used my experience to help others, because
Exactly.
there's, if I accept the help, I get better. And if I share
Yes.
that, I'm less stressed.
So what are some of the things you've shared with others, and maybe some of the things they've helped you with?
Oh, it's quite a list of how I have been helped, from over the years, having coffee or having breakfast or meeting with friends, and over time, it took a while for me to be able to get out of the house, so it was like a big deal to go to the diner.
Yes.
And I had someone else, a friend of mine, help me to drive again. And
excellent.
I am now able to drive. But I wasn't in a rush to drive. It took me a couple of years before I could drive again. And I had to prove to others and to myself that I could read the street signs, that I could read the right, what was written. And I can do that today.
Oh, that is a great accomplishment. I mean, a lot of people might not understand the accomplishment, but, I mean, you're there.
It got me to feel like I was 17 again when I first got
Yes.
I could drive.
It's a great thing. So maybe, Jeff, you could tell me, what do you want people to know about you, what you've been through, and where you're going?
I would like people to know that I am not the only survivor, that I am part of many who have been willing to help me, and I have not done anything that other people have not done before me. And until somebody was able to make that interesting or fun or accessible and comfortable, it was more difficult. And now it is less difficult, and I hope to be able to share that with other people. Because everywhere I go, I know that there are smarter, better looking, more spiritual people than me wherever I go. And yet here I am, and I can enjoy where I am at today because I know where I was.
Exactly. Maybe you could tell us, what are the things that allowed you to get where you are? Was it computer work? Was it actual trial and error, trying to read? Was it going through coursework? Like, what has helped you get where you are?
Oh, all of those things and more. Was I willing to be more physical, for one? And today I have a dog that helps me get out of the house because I walk him.
Yes.
That's the gym to me, although I'm no longer the basketball player that I used to be.
Oh, no.
But I do, therapeutically, I'm at the table tennis club at least once a week.
That's great.
Helps my balance and equilibrium. And I get to have a little fun and lighten up. But when it comes to some of the other things that you talked about, so many people were trying to help me to read. They would come with a book and, can I read this? And some did not understand the therapeutic difficulties that I had with after a few sentences, the words, the letters would sort of change for me. And even now when I read, if I'm by myself, I read out loud because sometimes I will say things that are not written because I hear it. It doesn't make sense.
Yes.
But, over time that has improved. My cognitive therapy has certainly been more helpful than I ever thought it would be. I have more cogs now than I had before.
Oh, yeah, you're full of cogs.
Yes, full of cogs.
Yes.
I've been called worse.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, so dealing with family, I imagine at first it was difficult, family and friends.
I can only imagine how difficult it was for them.
Yes.
Dealing with me and seeing me with what they saw. I don't believe I've ever seen anybody or had a friend who was injured in the same way that I hear that I was.
Yes.
I don't know what I looked like. I wasn't looking at mirrors for a few years. I could shave without looking.
Right.
But I look today.
Yes. Do you write things down or record things?
What has been so amazingly helpful is my iPhone. I can speak into my iPhone and it'll write what I've written. But I've also used it for my reminders. I was reminded every time a reminder comes up, I'm going to see Dan next week.
Yes.
2 days before, 1 day before, 2 hours before, 1 hour before. It took me a while to remember to do that.
Yes.
But I am better able to do that, to get the reminders.
So that's a tool that helps you.
And when I see people, I am not nearly as afraid or embarrassed to ask questions as I once was. How do I know you? Where did we meet? And if we meet again, I usually say, my name is Jeff. Just introduce yourself to me again. Then I will know that we've met. And that's with family and friends. But my memory has improved quite a bit, although nobody can upset me as much as the people I love. And so that goes both ways. So, with the family, it's I can't imagine what they deal with because they have to deal with me. And although I have to deal with me, I deal with me a little differently.
Right. So it's a two-way street.
It is. It is.
Yeah, Jeff. In our last 4 minutes, maybe you could give some advice for others who had a brain injury and might be on the road to recovery. What would you suggest they do?
Wow. Well, I don't have that many suggestions at the moment, but Jeff Turitz at AOL, I will be happy to be on a personal level, but this is a little overwhelming. I mean, when I was able to accept the help that made sense to me, it was easier for me to go ahead and make the effort. And I would suggest that to other people, wherever the help is, whatever is helpful.
Yes.
So, I'm just so amazingly happy that I could come here
and
have a conversation with Dan.
Yes. It is amazing that you've come back better than ever.
Thank you so much for just allowing me to be here.
Oh, you're welcome.
You've
and
helped my spirits.
Yes, so that was Jeff Turitz. Maybe you could spell Turitz.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, Jeff, J-E-F-F.
Right, Jeff, J-E-F-F-T-U-R-I-T-Z.
Yes.
That's how you spell my name. At AOL.com or... any other way that works.
Well, I hope you're able to help someone out there. And great seeing you, Jeff. And I wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Well, everyone, Jeff Turitz on Dialogues with Dan. Have a great week, everyone. Peace.
It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com